CBS News has learned the Department of Homeland Security is asking immigration agency employees to help relocate Afghans who assisted U.S. forces over the last 20 years. It comes after the Biden administration authorized $500 million to assist in resettlement efforts. Many of those fleeing the Taliban rule in Afghanistan are expected to head to states like California, Maryland, and Texas. Refugee groups across the U.S. are also preparing to assist Afghans in the resettlement process. For more, I want to bring in Faye. She's the Development Director for Refugee Services of Texas. Ashley, welcome. Thank you very much for talking to us. First, can you explain the difference between a special immigration visa applicant and a refugee?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. So a refugee is kind of the common terminology, and it gets mistaken often for what an SIV or an asylum seeker might be. A refugee is typically in a refugee camp. They're displaced from their home due to no fault of their own. And while they're there, they apply for refugee status. Only about 1% of people get chosen for refugee status. And then from there, they're allocated to a country not of their choosing, where they're resettled. A special immigrant visa entrant, or an SIV as we call them, that's a little bit different. So they kind of sign up for the program on the front end and agree to help our military, American military, in their home countries of Iraq and Afghanistan. And as a result, they have a target on their back. And so it's our responsibility and our promise to them to resettle them here in the United States.
So how many of these individuals are you anticipating to be relocated to the U.S.?
Into the U.S., we're expecting thousands into the U.S. I can tell you through our agency, and we're the largest in the state, we're currently projecting 324 special immigrant visa entrants, but things are changing moment by moment. I was just on a webinar with changes. And but overall, we could expect 30 or 40,000 SIVs to enter the country.
Wow. And I wonder if you could just walk us through briefly your organization's resettlement process, because I think people may not be aware of the myriad of details that are involved when you talk about resettling just a single refugee.
Sure. So the resettlement process is that we have is very comprehensive, and we serve a vast variety of clients. And so, of course, we serve refugees, but we also serve SIVs, asylum seekers, unaccompanied minors, and survivors of trafficking. And we provide them with very comprehensive services. So when we find out that they are coming to Texas through Refugee Services of Texas, that means go time for us. And we usually have about 2 weeks when we know a refugee family is coming. And that gives us time to gather our welcome teams, who are volunteers, and they gather the donations of furniture and basic necessities to set up an apartment. And from there, we pick them up at the airport, and case management starts immediately. And so kids are enrolled in school, families are found medical care, we have mental health services, we have legal services, so it's kind of endless. We try to be sort of one-stop shopping for the clients that we have.
And how might this increase in SIVs specifically impact your timeline now for preparing to resettle someone?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, with this influx, especially of SIVs now that we're looking at, how is that impacting your time frame in terms of resettling someone?
Yeah, so it's moving it up a little bit. So with the past administration, federal funding for refugee resettlement was cut to an all-time drastic low of up to 15,000 refugees allowed into the United States. The average is 95,000, so there's a huge discrepancy. And so we were waiting patiently for Biden's decision to raise that cap, and he did. And so we started to see a trickle come in. COVID also was an impact. And now all of a sudden we're seeing this wave of people who are really escaping life and death situations. And so it's all hands on deck. It's organized chaos at the moment, but we are so excited and happy to have them here. It's exactly where they should be.
And Ashley, with that wave of people coming in, we are hearing some individual compelling stories. And Americans, we know, are certainly paying attention right now. What can people do? How can they help? When they see these images, some people inevitably, will wonder what it is that they can do to help some of these individuals. What would you say to them?
Yeah, and we'd love to have that conversation with you. So definitely check out our website, which is rstx.org. For Refugee Services of Texas. And on there, you'll find some actually fun events. We have fun at our job too. We're having a client, staff, community member soccer match come up. So we have some fun things in the works. And there's also a way to donate on that page. And that's really significant. Unrestricted funding allows us to do what federal funding does not allow us to do, and to go above and beyond the very minimal services that they automatically receive, the refugees automatically receive. So we ask for your contributions and your generosity, and whether you're giving $1 or $1,000, we're so appreciative.
Well, Ashley, Faye, I know this is a really busy time for you and your organization. Thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.